Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, and we already know why I am smiling. Of course, we know Kevin Patullo, former offensive coordinator for the Birds, the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles, that is out. He's out. He's fired. The Birds will now move on. We'll jump into all of that. And yeah, let's stop the yapping. Let's get right into it.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. He's at the 20. They should stop this one.
What you got? Domination! Snot bubbles!
He throws. Complete. Touchdown. They've got him again. They've got him again. Sack Crumpler. What a throw. What a hit. What a catch.
Defense is just way too much for the count.
It's caught by Alshon Jeffrey for a touchdown. He pushes. Touchdown. Jalen Hunt. Touchdown. A.J. Brown. A run. He's going to score. It's a touchdown by Nick Foles. The train is in the end zone. Touchdown. Torrey Smith in for the touchdown as Jeffrey's in. Touchdown. Jalen Hurts.
Mr. Hum, I wanted to thank you. Fired. I beg your pardon? Fired. But I...
Court adjourned. Court adjourned. I, as Judge Dion Jr. of the Eagles-centric Nation, hereby sentence Kevin Patullo banned from the Eagles. You, my friend, get the boot. Yeah. Now, I honestly think, Nick Sirianni has to get it back. This whole roller coaster thing, the up, the down, the up, the down, it has to stop. As Jalen Hurts said in the press conference yesterday, it has to stop. He put it on him, of course, the leader of the team, the quarterback, of course, he puts it on himself. But it has to stop. Nick Sirianni has to stop. Now, of course, Howie Roseman probably isn't going to let Nick Sirianni hire any more offensive coordinators. Hopefully he doesn't. Even if we do go and win another championship, do not let this man hire any more offensive coordinators moving forward. No. He can have some say in it because he is the head coach. That is his title. He has to work the title, I guess. But as I said before, Nick Sirianni should be in charge mainly of locker room operations. Game day operations. That should be his thing. It shouldn't be what plays are getting inserted. Maybe he could do that. Maybe at what times the plays are called or when you should do this play. Okay, cool. Because we also know that most offensive coordinators go to their head coach days or weeks before the Sunday game and go over what it is that they want to do and basically ask the head coach for their approval when it comes to that offensive game plan for that Sunday. All right? I go into there with this, hey, I want to run West Coast offense. I want to do this. They're going to hit us with some shell coverage, so I want to make sure that we attack this point of the field. On third downs, I want to do this. Second downs, I want to do that. If they happen to back us up on third downs, we get in third and longs, I want to do this. That type of deal. And there's a lot of offensive coordinators on the market. A lot of older guys, too, which I think should be what a guy like Howie Roseman should be going for. We went older when it went to the defensive coordinator and Vic Fangio, and I think we should do the same thing when it comes to our offensive coordinator. Let's go get a guy like Greg Roman. Let's go get a Todd Monken. Let's go get one of those guys because those guys are older, and they're not going to listen to what Nick Sirianni has to tell them about running an offense. No, you can't. No. Like I said, game day operations, locker room operations, practice field operate. That type of stuff should be what Nick Sirianni is in charge of. He's a CEO head coach. Let him be mainly in charge of those things. Because I tell you, man, when you let him get involved in the play calling, it's a shit show. AJ Brown, like AJ Brown said, it's a shit show. So keep him away from play calling. Keep him away from that. And I say that because um, this new offensive coordinator, he's most likely going to try to get in their ear. Hey, I'm the head coach. Basically, in all words, do what the hell I say. The same type of thing that he did with Kellen Moore. You've seen a lot of Kellen Moore's offense, a little bit of the run heavy style inserted in there, but you've seen a lot of Kellen Moore's offense in there. But you also seen some of that Nick Sirianni identity splattered on the field sometimes also, and it was like, ugh, please, no, don't do that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that right there. There were still those plays last season in the championship season because that was the Nick Sirianni version of the offense. We need to get that out of there. I'm telling you, man, we have a lot of great offensive coordinators, head coaches that could be great offensive coordinators or offensive coordinators, period, that are on the market. We have to take advantage of that. And I think Howie needs to get a guy that's going to say, listen, I know this guy is successful. He's been here longer. He's has a lot of stain, and he's, whatever. He's the head coach, of course. But I need to run my offense. I need to work with Jalen. I need to do this. I need to do that. And I don't need him getting in my ear telling me to do this, not to do that. No, because I don't trust Nick Sirianni to do that anyways. And I think when he does insert himself in that game plan, it just looks bad. He's not good at offensive play calling. Not in any way, shape, or form. I don't think so. And I'm happy as hell that we got rid of Kevin Patullo. I told y'all I was going to be right here when we decided to give his ass the boot. And, yeah, I'm excited for the future of this team. I'm not happy that a man got fired. We're just going to troll a little bit, but whatever. You've made my team look like shit all year, so I do think I deserve a little bit of kiki and ha-has on my show. So however you guys feel about that, I'm going to let you guys keep that in the comments down below. But, no, seriously, I think every Eagles fan, I don't even have to even say that, honestly, because every Eagles fan is feeling how I'm feeling. I honestly wanted to pour up some Don Julio when I seen the news come across my phone, but I was in the middle of work, so I couldn't do it. Oh, but best believe I'm going to light up a cigar. That Kevin Patullo pack, yeah, it's going to go down tonight. Because, if there's going to be anything good about this offseason, it's going to be the topping it off with your firing. Yeah. As I said in the last show, in the last episode, we as Eagle fans aren't excited about anything that has to do with anything other than this right here. What the caption of this video says. Kevin Patullo is fired. And I'm happy. I know Howie is going to probably do it's not even a probably. It's not even a maybe or who knows. It's going to be Howie Roseman to pick the offensive coordinator. And honestly, I don't think that this guy that we pick next is going to get poached or move on, because if we go and get one of those older guys who's probably been a head coach already and wasn't successful at it, like Vic Fangio, or just older and not looking for head coaching jobs, it'll be, one of those type of moves. I think he won't move. And then we'll get a consistent play caller in Philly, which will be great for Jalen Hurts because he hasn't had a consistent play caller since high school. It literally goes back that long. Since high school, Jalen Hurts hasn't had a consistent play caller in his ear for more than, 2 seasons? 3 seasons maybe? I think in college, Saban coached him for 2 seasons consistently? I think Steichen had him in the NFL in his first and second year. No, Doug Peterson was there. So Steichen was there 2 seasons, maybe a year and a half. Once Nick came in, 21, then 22. That was the second year of play calling with Steichen, right? That's a consistent play caller with Jalen, is what I'm getting at. And if we can get that, whoo, as Jalen said in the press conference, we can stop the roller coasters. One year we get there, one year we're down in the first round, one year we're back up. Philly Nation, it's a Philly thing. Let's do it, go Birds. It's always that, of course, all year, but we have to do that every year. We want to be dynastic, and we talk about this so much on this show. It's something that I really, really want. That's why I hate when AJ Brown cries and ignores the media or does the childish things that he does. Because when you look at championship teams over the years, they've had great players, of course, but everyone's mind was on the main thing, and it was winning. And every time someone got off the rails, veered off the road a little bit, it went to shambles. You know, personalities can't be more important than the ultimate goal in this. We can't be more worried about stats and this and legacy and that, because the legacy is going to be there once you look back 5 years from now and the Birds have finally caught up with the stinking Cry Girls and they're 6 rings in, Jalen is 4 rings in. That is dynasty type of stuff. And I don't want to hear that it can't be done, because this guy has taken us to 2. This guy has led us to 2. Without Saquon, with Saquon. A win and a loss. So the appearance is what's the most important. You get there, and I'm betting on my guys. I don't care who we go against. I'm betting on Jalen. And that's what I mean when I say a dynasty team, man. Because that was what Mahomes and Brady, John Elway, I can go back, I can go further. Terry Bradshaw, hell, Roger Staubach. That's what those guys were. You have to put it together. And as soon as one guy says, they're not throwing me the ball, I'm not getting the ball, I want to impact the game, it veers off the road. I'm telling you, man. You never heard any of that type of stuff when it came to those dynastic teams. If you did, it was probably from reports of locker room, off the field stuff. It never came from the horse's mouth. Those guys weren't making a big deal about it. You didn't see them go off the field and make huge deals about it. If it was something, it stayed in-house, because that is what championship teams have to do in order to keep, you know, the focus locked in on that. I'm pretty sure Michael Irvin during those dynastic runs wanted the ball more. Emmitt Smith was the running back, of course. I hate to talk about that team on this show, but that is what football was. I'm pretty sure Joe Montana, whoever the running back was over there, Ricky Waters, or whoever the running back was over there, wanted to run the ball more. Jerry Rice was so great. We don't even remember the running back over there. Yeah, we do. I just don't remember off the top of my head right now. But, like, that is what dynastic teams are. You didn't hear Wes Welker or Julian Edelman complain about the ball. It was whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. So, you know, there's a lot more things that the Birds have to do. You know, this is the first step to get back on that road to victory, because this year we veered off that road. That proverbial road that I've been speaking about all show, the last show and the show before, we've been veering off that road with Kevin Patullo, and it's time to go and get someone that's going to put us right back in contention. We haven't been knocked out of contention, but we're not in the playoffs. We're knocked out of the playoffs. So this year, no more contention. But next year, there's a chance to get back to where we were. As I've said last show, I was going to be here when we got rid of KP. But I've also been thinking a lot about this, and, you know, we aren't any further away from the Super Bowl than we were when we started this season, man. We aren't. We aren't any further away from the dynasty we want to be than we were when we started this season. It's going to look a little different. It might have to be a little harder to get, But if the Birds really want it, if the coaching staff really wants it, if the players really want to execute, if no one complains, if certain players get paid, that's out of anyone's control other than the front office. But a lot of the things, a lot of those things have to work in order for championship teams to stay championship, teams. That is what has to happen for a team to keep it going. Those things have to keep clicking. That's why Belichick was able to do what he did for 20 plus years, and all the other great dynasty teams. And I keep bringing up other teams because that is what I want my team to be like. In the last couple of years, championships and Philadelphia Eagles have been synonymous. But it's still the feeling of, yeah, but I still feel like we could do a little more. Even in the past, we could have done a little more, but the past is the past. So, man, I got so much faith in these Birds team. And a lot of the faith that I lost during the season just came right back now that we've gotten rid of this offensive coordinator. I'm so excited to do this episode. This is probably the most exciting episode outside of, the Cowgirls Eagles game to start off the season. Like that is how excited I am about this. It feels like the season is about to start again tomorrow. But as I said, man, the Birds have a lot more to do on this road to victory because we're out of the playoffs. So hopefully in the next week or so, let's go ahead and get our offensive coordinator. Let's go ahead and start filling out the game plan for next year. If you want to be honest, if you ask me, once we get this offensive coordinator and we go through the draft, he's gonna start inserting that. Like, okay, this is what I want to do with these guys that now that we've drafted and players that we've signed and moved on from. Okay, now that we got all of our guys, basically, this is the offense that I want to run. And we need to get the offensive coordinator in ASAP. I know how he's going to do that. I don't have to tell him to do anything. But we got to get those guys in there now because I think Philly is back. I won't, matter of fact, you know what? I'll take that back. I won't even say that. I won't even say Philly is back until I see who they go and get, see who they go and hire. Because this is going to be a very significant hire. This is probably going to be a very precious hire. Howie is probably going to take a couple of days, a couple of weeks, maybe a month to really, really see who he wants. I don't think, maybe not a month, but it's going to be a good little minute before Howie really, we might get that report early as hell in the day or very late in the day. Because I think Howie's going to really, really, really go through everything that he needs to go through in order to figure out who he wants as an offensive coordinator. Is that offense the offense that we want? Is that offensive coordinator good with Jalen? Do he want Jalen? Like, those are the things that you're gonna have to ask these guys that you're gonna be interviewing. You're gonna have to make sure that they want to coach Jalen because Jalen is a very particular quarterback, and not every offensive coordinator runs that type of scheme or wants to run that scheme. Kellen Moore was a godsend, and he was able to work with Jalen. But, yeah, Scott Leffler is still in the building. Current quarterback coach for Jalen. So, there's still some familiarity there with Jalen. He'll still have some familiarity there. And just be the new offensive coordinator, man. We got to get him in, and hopefully what he brings can get Jalen and Saquon, and if AJ is still here, AJ Brown, Devontae, all back to what we know these guys can be. And there's going to be a lot of conversations this offseason about this team, man. There's going to be a lot of conversations about this team. The offensive line, Tyler Steen, I want his ass gone. Right guards, tackles, replacing Lane Johnson. Will he come back? Will he retire? I seen Jordan Mailata say that he expect Lane to be right back. So, most players don't retire on a hobbled season like Lane just had. I know Jason Kelsey went out on one of the Eagles' lowest points, 2023, but I don't think Lane wants to do that. I think Lane still can see the future with this team. I think he still wants to be a part of it. Kind of like Brandon Graham. I seen something else that said Brandon Graham is going to still contemplate whether he looks towards going back into retirement or maybe still trying another season. He did look good this year. I mean, that's the thing about some of these Eagles players that have retired lately. Even Fletcher Cox, when he retired, like a lot of these guys were looking good in their last years. So, but anyway, that's another question. That's another conversation for another episode, man. We're just happy that the Eagles have finally gotten rid of the main culprit. And it also lets us know that we're not crazy fans, man. Like we're a little ballistic, but we also can look at film, can watch the team. We go to the games. There's a lot of loyal Eagles fans that go to every game, home and away, and they watch that team, and they know a little football themselves. So you can't tell those guys that what they're saying is wrong. And no, we're trying. We're still balling on Kevin Patullo. This lets us know that they were lying to us, but it's one of those lies that, hey, hopefully we end up right in the end. But they weren't, and we were. So, and that's how it goes sometimes. This is the NFL. When incompetent people come in, you got to get them out. And Philly didn't want to get him out of there early enough. Not even Philly. It was Nick. He didn't want to get rid of him early enough. So, hey, this is where you end up, and this is what you have to do now. So, hopefully, the guy that they pick, we are all in agreement with. And as soon as they pick him, I don't care where I'm at. If I'm in the car, I'll make a video in the car from my phone about that pick, because that's going to be a very, very significant, important pick for this season. We know probably more than any other fan base, excluding the Lions, because they know now. But we know more than any other fan base how important offensive coordinator, not defensive coordinator anymore. We know how important that is, but we have one now, so we're not really worried about that part of the team. But we know how important coordinators are. Coaching is to the NFL. No one can tell us different, because we've seen it happen to us twice now. And like I said, it's going to be a very important hire, and whenever that happens, we're going to be right here. You already know how it goes here on Egocentric, man. I love you guys, man. We do this every day now, 66 days straight. I'm not even counting anymore. Whenever that day comes, it's going to come. I'll go back and watch the videos. I always go back and watch my videos anyway, so I'll go back and get to that video when I say, hey, I'm starting a 66-day. I think that was the show when the Birds got knocked out of the playoffs, ironically. So all I have to do is go back to when Kevin Patullo was still here, and around this time right here, you guys don't let me forget. So yeah, man, like for real, on a more serious note, thank you guys for watching. Of course, the season is over, but still tune in. We still have a lot of great updates. We're gonna still have a lot of fun, giveaways, jerseys, tickets, all of that still gonna go on right here. And this is probably the best time to go ahead and start the ticket giveaways and start getting involved in the ticket giveaways, because you get yours early. And yeah, man. This is the part of the season that we didn't want to be in just yet, which is the off season. But hey, it happens. You can't win them every single year, but let's just hope that the Birds make that right hire and get the Birds back to winning almost every single year. So, like always, man, you know how it is, and you know the routine here. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Egocentric, your contributions are greatly appreciated. And yeah, man, like I said, you know the routine. Be blessed. Go Birds.
Shorty pretty, I'm tryna get in the dough. Light a cake, funnel cake. What is this? Vertebrae, diamond lens, cardiac, pockets fat, overweight, cannabis, meditate, overseas, out of state, a lot of speed, no brakes, love your feet, eat the case, big poppin' shit that it clear through, panoramic, my bitch got a glass roof, we pull up with the sticks like that bamboo, yeah, I put my mans on.